Congratulations. Adelaide, a lot of Adelaide's key ball winners were, I guess, down in numbers-wise tonight. Was team defence what you're most pleased with tonight, particularly in the second half?
Yeah, I think it's a good observation. I think that we're really pleased with the way we defended full stop tonight. To keep a pretty prolific side like Adelaide to 16 inside 50s in the first half was a good effort, although they were able to score a bit too easily a few times on the back of those. But that's a pretty sustainable style in defence, play that way, and we still got some things that we'd like to tighten up in terms of defending some transition, but for the most part we did that really well today, and up the other end we generated enough shots but couldn't convert a lot of them.
What was your message at half-time? I think you had double the clearances at that stage, so double the inside 50s at that stage and 7 more clearances. You were dominating the game, you just couldn't convert. Yeah,
well, I think kick straighter is not a good enough coaching message. Generating more quality shots is what we were after. We thought that there were a couple of occasions where we would have liked to have lowered our vision a little bit and just hit the little easy option to generate an easier set shot at goal. But we missed a lot of set shots in the first quarter as well. So, but I always maintain that generating the shots is the hardest thing in AFL footy. We'll just go to work on our goal kicking practice, but the way that we played today, I think, is something for us to really build on in terms of a sustainable brand.
Easy to say now, but were you thinking, weight of numbers, this is eventually going to turn in our favour?
Yeah, I think you analyse the shots, and we were analysing the shots, and we probably had a few, like sort of 50-50 snaps from 40-45 metres that we would have liked to have just lowered our vision a bit on those. But, I mean, the set shots in the first quarter were pretty fundamental, sort of rudimentary shots. So, yeah, we analysed where we were having the shots from. We tidied up a little bit of that, but also from our weight of numbers in terms of our entries, we weren't scoring well enough full stop, whether it was a goal or a point. But we really tidied that up in the second half and also clamped their opportunities as well.
One of the greatest of all time, Brad, I think Wayne Carey said, I guess put Ben Brown under the microscope on Monday, talking about how nimble he is and so forth. It was a great response by Brownie tonight, do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a response. Not necessarily to Duck's comments, although, that it probably wasn't a way. He went in with a pretty vigorous tackle in the first quarter, gave away a free kick, but I love the intent. As I said during the week, I don't think that anything that Wayne said was unfair. It was an observation, and we wanted to give Brownie a bit more support tonight, and I thought Mason Wood played his role really well. Cameron Zurhaar came in, probably didn't have great numbers, but he had great pressure numbers and just gave us a bit of a different look to our forward half. But I thought all in all it was a really good response from Brownie.
Is there a bit of relief, Brad? 0-3, there was obviously a lot of attention, a lot of pressure on the club to get that win, especially after it could have gone wrong after the way you were kicking in the first half.
Yeah, it is. It's a relief because the pressure builds on everyone. That's just natural because it's an intense competition, and you don't want the competition to get too far away from you either. But the competition's pretty tight. I think even. There's going to be a lot to play out in 2019. The challenge for us, while it's probably easy to say, is just to keep building the style of footy that we want to play. And we saw glimpses of it in round 2. We saw patches of it in round 3, but we had a more complete performance and a better consistency of effort over 4 quarters tonight. So that's what you look at in terms of the build. But yeah, the short term, winning's better than losing.
You brought in Jed Anderson and Paul Ahern. Did you feel that your attack on the footy was improved?
Yeah, but that when Jed Anderson's around the ball, the opposition know that. He's a really important part of the way that we want to play, and we set the challenge for. We set the challenge for all our other midfielders to rise to his level. So we have missed him in the early rounds of the year, but every team misses players at different stages, and it's who can step up in their absence.
Can you talk a little bit about how far he's come with his footy in the past 12 months? I mean, he was going into a contract year last year, potentially could have been his last year in the AFL. He's now become an incredibly important player to this team. Yeah, well,
we spend a lot of time focusing on what we think players are good at and what they're and trying to play them in their sweet spot. It's I think it's a mistake to try and ask players to do things that it's not their capability. I mean, there are certain things like pressure that you want everyone to be able to perform at different stages. Like Ben Brown, you love him to be an unbelievable pressure player, but I mean, look at the size and shape he is. But he's got unbelievable attributes in other areas. So we just got Jed back to what he was good at and moved into a midfield role, which he's really relished, and he's worked hard on his fitness as well. And now he's covering the ground really well.
Speaking of Ben, Brendan Goddard on radio labelled some of the umpiring outrageous in regards to Ben, saying that he was flopping in stage for free kicks. Do you have any response to that? Do you think it's a fair assessment?
I don't. When the free kick's paid in a set shot, I just look at the next centre bounce combination and move on. Yeah, I mean, I think it's in the short term. Everyone probably gets frustrated when decisions are paid one way or the other. You know, I think the first centre bounce of the game, you know, free kick was paid against Goldie, and one of the midfield coaches, because he's looking at his numbers, said, "What was that for?" And you know, our response is, "Who cares? Like, let's just move on." So let the umpires do their job, and we'll do ours.
Is there any adjustment required in terms of the distance required for a marker? The umpires have tightened up on that. I think that Malira kicked a goal tonight when you guys were slightly slow to potentially adjust.
Sorry, I missed that, Tom.
Are the umpires tighter on the 15-metre rule in regards to kicking a mark?
You mean in terms of ensuring that it's 15 metres?
Yeah.
Or I think it's one of the hardest things. The umpire's got it, when the ball leaves the boot, he's got to make a decision in mid-air. When the ball's in mid-air, is that going to travel 15 metres or not? And he has to call play on when the ball's in mid-air. So I think that if he could wait and then measure it and then decide whether he's going to call play on or a mark, it'd be a lot easier. But in fairness to the players, the umpires try and call play on as soon as possible, which makes it really hard to adjudicate. So, yeah, I don't get too caught up in it.
Injuries, how did Luke McDonald pull up? It looked like he might have a calf or an Achilles issue at one point. I know he played out the game.
Yeah, he's a bit sore around his ankle, but it wasn't an injury risk. But it was a bit sore, so he had to tough it out. And in his 100th game on Eddie Betts, you know, Betts did what Betts does, you know, on a few occasions. But Luke was terrific in a defensive role, following up after a great performance on Puopolo the week before.
Do you have any thoughts on his bump on Jones?
Honestly, don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see it. Yep.
Talking about defensive efforts, what did you make of the three forwards, Zerha, Thomas and Turner?
Yeah, we just try to adjust the way that we go inside 50 so that they're involved in the game more. So both on the scoreboard, but also the ability to pressure. We've been really disappointed with our forward half pressure in the first 3 rounds, and those boys added to that today. But I think it was a little bit in the execution of the pressure, but also the organisation of our system to be there in the first place to pressure.
And it's only numbers, but 15 tackles between them. You know, music to your ears.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's certainly a dramatic improvement on the first 3 weeks.
Do you think this gives you, how much belief does this give the group that's gelling? It's had a lot of new faces for a big game against Essendon and Good Friday, which is obviously a significant game for the club.
Yeah.
I did check it, I locked it.
So is that a question from the cameraman?
I'm not sure.
Look, we'll get a little bit of confidence and belief in the way that we're trying to play. Yeah, and I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, winning helps with that. I mean, it's hard to reinforce positives and work on areas for improvement when you're not getting the result. Even though there have been some things that we see signs of, but we just got to keep reinforcing the way that we want to play. Really give credit to the boys when they do it, and really strongly hold them accountable when we don't. And I'm seeing that more clearly than ever.
Thanks, all.
Thanks,